Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Bad
Now let's start the show.
Thank you. What's the deal with Link's Awakening? It's like Link's Awakening with the ground. So, I don't know. There's the whole Nintendo Direct thing recently, which means that this episode is immediately going to be dated, depending on when you see it. But, they released this whole Nintendo Direct, and one of the things I saw a snapshot of was that they're going to do Link's Awakening on the Switch. They're going to do a remake. And then I was like, well, fine, I'll look into that and see what that means. And essentially, basically what I've seen anyways, what it means is that the small clip we've seen, it's Link's Awakening redone in a new looking flashy engine. Looks like it's going to be pretty similar gameplay wise and structure wise, but it's all it's basically like a Link Between Worlds kind of esque, but it looks nicer because it's on the Switch. So there's it's like crisper, and there's a lot more lighting effects and bloom, and they can have more detail on there. But it's a pretty similar visual style to that, essentially. Until we hear more about it, essentially at this point, that's what we know. And I don't know. I want to be happy about things that happen, but sometimes I just have trouble doing that because this just brings back a lot of thoughts of the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee thing, where it's like, okay, so we've got this game that we've already remade once, and to be fair, Link's Awakening DX, which was just a game that got enhanced where you could have there's color in it. If you played on a Game Boy Color, there was another new bonus dungeon you could play that was totally optional that uses that to its advantage. And then there's the thing with taking pictures, and it's weird, and I don't really like that part of it, but whatever. They added a few little things, fixed some typos. Mostly the same game, so I understand it's been a while since that was 98 or something, right? So it's been a while since we've seen Link's Awakening come out like that, I suppose. But you look at this and it's does it really need to be remade? And this is another one of those games where it's no, it doesn't really need to be remade. Because you go back to the original Link's Awakening and there's not really problems with it. I mean, there's probably things you could point out that I'm not really going to be aware of offhand because they're not major things, but if they're gonna they remade Ocarina of Time and didn't fix the problems it had. They changed some things and they made some things better, but the core problems that I had with it remained even in the remake, so that was odd. But this is a game that I think was probably better designed than Ocarina of Time, even if it doesn't have as much importance or impact, obviously, as Ocarina of Time. It doesn't seem like it really needs to be remade. You can go back and play it, and it doesn't feel like it's dated. It doesn't feel like it's limited, because there's a lot of games that come out with this kind of style now, anyways. Especially on the indie scene, there's a whole bunch of this stuff. So I don't see why we necessarily need to update the graphics, because I don't think, and maybe that's just me reading this wrong, but I don't think modern audiences are necessarily a big stickler for it has to look new and fancy and be super graphically impressive, versus if it just has a nice art style. And even because of the style of this too, it doesn't look like it's it doesn't look realistic or anything either, so it's not like it's going that route. So I don't know, I think it would have been fine to release the original one, and you wonder why not do that, and you kind of start to realize why this is cropping up, and it gets kind of gross, because it's well, it's a Zelda game. It's got the Zelda name on it, so it's gonna sell. It's Link's Awakening. a game that still sold pretty well on the Game Boy. It's a game that people know about. It's a beloved game in the franchise at this point. So they already know it's going to sell. So of course that's a great. We'll use that, and then we'll remake that, because doing a remake takes a lot less time than doing a whole new game. Even if they have to remake a bunch of stuff from the ground up, they know all the stuff that's supposed to be there, what's going to go on there, and so it takes a hell of a lot less time to do that. And that then creates a stopgap. So it's like, well, Zelda fans, instead of being like, where's the next new Zelda game? It's like, well, have this, and they'll tide you over, and have another Zelda game on the Switch, and but like you think like, well, why not just put up the original one on the eShop for like $5 to $10, or put up the original on Nintendo Switch Online, so you can play that, right? Because it doesn't really need the remake, because it's already great and doesn't really have issues that needs to be fixed with a remake. So the reason for that is just they'll make more money this way. And again, like, I don't think they've announced the price or anything of this, so it's possible that this game is going to come out and be, cheaper. But I imagine, like most of the games that are coming out for the Switch, there's probably going to be, a lot of these have been like, like $50 to $60, like, new game prices on it. Which is, if that's the case, that sucks. That's stupid and that's bullshit. If it's like $20, fine, whatever. People want to play Link's Awakening, they haven't played it, or they want to be able to play it on the Switch, and this is how they get it, fine. They want an excuse to play through it again because, like, oh, it looks different, so that'll be worth it for some reason. Whatever. But, like, and I'm sure the game itself will probably be fun. I'm sure it's going to probably be Link's Awakening, which is a fun game. They'd have to fuck with it pretty bad and make it, like, suck. So, hopefully they don't do that. But, like, it's just frustrating because, like, you can see that it's pretty much a big business thing of, like, this is going to be a stopgap, it's going to make us money, and it's gonna just, it's going to satisfy a lot of business needs of, continually getting money off of the Zelda franchise, keeping the fans quiet, and, being able to push back a new game. And honestly, I'd rather the resources just go towards making a new game and not worry about remakes, especially in a formulaic franchise like Zelda and others that Nintendo has. You don't really necessarily need remakes of a lot of these. Why not remake the DS ones and maybe, try to take away some of that stylus control and make it a little more balanced with that kind of thing. Why not remake a lesser-known one like Four Swords Adventures, or even like Minish Cap, maybe? The Oracle's games are probably less known than Link's Awakening, so it's like you had options for those kind of things too, but they picked a known one. And I don't know, like, and the Oracles would have been cool because you could have put them both together as one big experience. That would have been pretty neat. But this was kind of like quick and easy, it feels like, and not to say there's like no work or anything put into that. I'm sure there's, it's not like it's just like, oh, we'll just shit it out, but like, it's a hell of a lot less work, and it's just, I think that it's going to, in some ways, probably delay a new Zelda game just because, or other games or something, because obviously Nintendo is spread kind of thin when you realize that they can't have, a new game in all of their series come out on every single system because they have too many fucking IPs and not enough people, heading those different games to get something out all the time. And that's just kind of part of this whole big mess. And so I feel bad that I have to look at this and see people getting hyped about it, and they're asking, like, what do you think of it? And I gotta go in answering honestly and like, well, it looks like it's gonna be probably a thing so they can get some money. It's probably gonna be fine, but I don't think anybody really cares about what they're doing with this. I don't think they're gonna ever remake something that needs a remake. I don't think they're really interested in that. I don't think they're really interested in making it a good value. But hey, I would at least let this go if this was like $20, and if they had this on like the original game available on this game, maybe $30. I don't think it is going to be something that's going to be worth jumping up for a full $60 game unless you haven't ever played it, or of course, if you're a super fan, you're going to get it anyway because it says Zelda on it. So I don't really need to say for that. I don't know. It's weird. I don't see the point. I don't see the point in getting that excited about something that's not really that exciting. And I feel bad that I can't be as excited as I'd like to be, because I've just turned into apparently a jaded old man who she can't even be happy about a fucking Zelda game. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. What's the deal with Link's Awakening? It's like Link's Awakening DS. DX is what I meant to say. With whatever. You fucking... You know what I mean. My stomach is just gonna make noises the entire day, apparently. What's the deal with Sam? What's the deal